In Eldorado Park, an angry crowd gathers at the local police station. They demand to see a suspect who they believe killed 6-year-old Khairunisha Ganchi. Ganchi went missing 2 weeks ago, and a mutilated body was finally found close to her home a day later. And in Cape Town, it was a black September for 2 families. And it ended with 2 almost identical coffins on the same day. Three-year-old Joey Josephs disappeared on the 21st of September in Delft while playing outside her home. A frantic search followed.
And I look everywhere. I go from that side by 12 side, I come back. I walk all the streets there. I don't see my child.
Her body was found the next day in dense bushes not far from her home. Across town in Steenberg, 8-year-old Veronique Solomons had disappeared 2 days earlier. She was abducted near her home. While family members feared the worst, her mother remained hopeful, even after the charred remains of a child were discovered the same day.
That's not she. And I would have had a feeling if she is dead. But that is not my child. She is still alive. She is out there somewhere.
DNA tests later confirmed that it was the body of Veronique.
The degree of the violence is escalating, and it's certainly becoming more sadistic.
We have about 17,000 rapes of children per year, and about 6,000 rapes are under the age of 13.
More and more children are being raped. More and more children are being killed. Our children are demented. They are not safe in our communities.
It's a Friday night in October. We are in Louisville, Uppington, in the Northern Cape. Alcohol flows freely. A teenage mother leaves a 9-month-old baby unattended in one of the rooms. Unnoticed, a young man enters the room while the party continues outside. Later that night, the grandmother makes a shocking discovery.
Hy aand het ek gestaan by my kliniek gestaan en toe kom Poppy. Baba se pang sa ouma met daar in die arm aan en dan roep sy vir my aan, "Trooi, kom kyk hierso." Toe sien ek onder by die kant sa skamte daar is 'n gat in en dit lyk so bloederig. Toe sê ek van haar, die kind lyk hy sal verkrag.
Information leader. This is SAFM.
Different organizations, police and politicians have reacted strongly.
South Africa hung its head in shame when the news broke. The rape of baby Tsapang, as she became known later, rocked the nation and made international headlines. We were labelled the baby rape capital of the world.
I don't know if we're the rape capital of the world, but we definitely have a lot of rape in South Africa. And comparable figures I've looked at with, for example, the United States suggest that we might have 3 times as many rape cases reported to the police as they do over there. So we're pretty high, and amongst the Interpol members, we have been at the top of their league table. But what is unusual is 1/3 of our child rapes are under the age of 13, and so we do have a lot of rapes of younger children.
The community was outraged. Police, in a hurry to find the culprit, bungled the investigation. Initially, 6 men were arrested for the rape, including the child's own grandfather. They were all later cleared of all charges.
When the child came, obviously she was quite brutally injured. Most of the injuries were in perineum. Anal, vaginal, all the surrounding structures, they were all damaged.
Ek was so geskok geweest hy aan. Dit was vir my baie hartseerlik. En ek meen dit kan ek nou nog nie oor my hart kry nie. Dat ek so klein kindjie verkragt. En ek voel nou nog seer daaroor.
We established a task team during that time. I was part of the task team to look for the real perpetrator. So blood samples was taken and was a match with the DNS, and the real perpetrator was arrested. He was David Potsi, where he was sentenced 25 years for the rape case on baby Chepang, and for the indecent assault, you get 18 months.
This is SAFM.
A 3-year-old girl is currently undergoing an operation at the Kimberley Hospital following a...
The community has since moved on, but sexual violence against children remains a problem.
After the baby Chepang case, there was an increase in rape and indecent assault against children, because we go out and we have talk shows with the community, we have campaigns, anti-rape campaigns, and we talk to the community to speak out about these crimes. So that's why we have an increase in this type of crime, because of the reporting.
4 years later, little has changed. In fact, according to the latest crime statistics, child rape figures have gone up. We asked some of the experts who work with child sexual offenders why men rape children.
The men that I work with say that they rape kids because they can, and because it satisfies a whole lot of needs. What I've detected from the violent men that I've been exposed to, that it's not simply a between the legs problem, it's also between the ears problem. So there's a host of reasons why they do this.
The girl children are very much at the bottom of the pile, and because of the high status of men, and particularly older men, in a way their behaviour is seen as being unassailable. Some men rape because they want to communicate to their rape victim that they have power over that victim. And we see, for example, when we found out what really happened in Uppington with baby Chepang, that rape was an act of revenge against the mother. Men can get a hard-on by thinking about anything, and you can have sex with a child while you're thinking about an adult woman. The two don't have to be linked together. And in the majority of cases, the erection will not be caused by a sexual desire for that particular child.
There would be fantasies. So by the time that a situation presents itself, that person has already reinforced and played over the fantasy in their head. So yes, there will be an erection.
4 years ago, the international media spread rumours that South African men have a bizarre belief that sex with a virgin can cure AIDS. This was found to be untrue.
We've done research to try and find out what evidence there is to support it. And what we've concluded is that to the extent it occurs at all, it's very, very uncommon. And I've only ever spoken to 2 service providers who've ever seen a case.
This is Athlone in Cape Town. In this street, pitched battles were fought against the injustices of apartheid. Nowadays, a new battle has been fought, a fight against the abuse of innocent children. It was here at a child's birthday party that 3-year-old Fauziya, not her real name, became the victim of a vicious sexual predator.
The little girl and her mother and sister was here at the party where the perpetrator picked her up in front of the gate, and he actually took her in here where this little gap is by the fire gate and do his thing here in the yard, and then he threw her over to the neighbor's yard, where he then jumped over where the neighbor's husband actually found him in the yard.
Then I heard a noise here, and I seen a guy climbing over the fence here, over this fiber creek, and he climbed over the fence, yeah, and then he came into the yard. And then I warned him and everything. I called my stepson, and then we let him go. About half an hour after that, my wife came to call me, and then we seen this little girl standing here, and she was beaten up. I mean, like, her face was open here on the side, and she was bruised all on the top here.
The neighbor's wife actually came here and asked whose little girl is this, and so the mother actually saw that it was her child. Her face was so badly kicked. She was totally naked.
Pictures taken during the party show the alleged perpetrator, 24-year-old Edward Hendricks, playing with some of the children.
The child rapist doesn't see his victim in the same way he would view or construct other children in his life. So it's quite possible that in another part of this person's life, they come across as very nice, very caring. However, the moment that child is identified or recruited as a victim, that child becomes an object of no importance.
The sister of the alleged perpetrator was also at the party that Saturday. She says her brother was recently released on remission of sentence after serving 5 years for sodomizing a young boy.
But it just broke me, really. Because, I mean, I can't believe for my brother he will do something like that. And I mean, she's only a baby. And for myself, if he was feeling just that night here, he could have just come to me maybe or tell me, okay, I feel just or something, can't you organize me a girl? I mean, there on the streets, there's a lot of girls. They want to get paid. I mean, you can even give them 50 rand, you know?
They never should have let him out. Never. Because it didn't even take him 2 months to be amongst our people to do the same thing to another youngster. He never came out.
This person came in for indecent assault. He was already granted an unconditional release date by the department to go out somewhere in September. When you go out unconditionally, that is when your sentence has expired. We cannot keep a person then in the prison anymore. He has to go back into the community, and then the department's function stops. So if this person were released 2 months later, he would have probably done the same thing. The department, in this instance of this offender, took great care to see exactly what happened with him over the period of time. He was also requested to continue with sexual offender treatment programs. So what the department actually did was to follow through and monitor this particular guy that we're talking about now very carefully.
The programs that exist, it's not enough, it's inadequate. There needs to be a catchment area where they're held accountable and where they're monitored and supervised upon release. You cannot have a prisoner walk out of prison and go straight into the community and then it becomes business as usual.
We need our partners in the community to assist the department, and that is where the department is moving at the moment, that the society has a responsibility to assist the Department of Correctional Services. We can never do it just by ourselves.
There's a group of people who's going to keep on preying on innocent children, on communities, and their violence is going to become more brutal, more sadistic. And we have to find a way to talk to that. Because the bottom line is you can never cure a sex offender. Once a sex offender, always a sex offender. However, there are some of them that can respond if they're given the correct skills and correct knowledge. And that's your lower risk sex offender, not the kind of person who is going to brutalize an infant or brutalize a very young child. Those folk do not respond to any intervention whatsoever.
Lebo, not her real name, is only 4. Already life has dealt her a double blow. She's an AIDS orphan and a rape victim, living proof of a growing statistic. She now lives with her grandmother. Shortly after she was born, both her parents died of AIDS. She seems happy as she plays with her friends. For the moment, she seems to have forgotten her rape trauma. A man she knew had allegedly used an older child to lure her to his house. He then sent the older child away and raped her. Later, her grandmother became suspicious when the child was brought back home.
Then the grandmother see the child is weak. When he's weak, the child starts crying. He said he wants to sleep. When the child started sleeping, he saw the blood at her panty. The grandmother started screaming, checking the child. He found the child is bleeding. He came to me, "Hey, Kate, that guy raped my child."
The alleged rapist ran away but was caught by members of the community. The victim later identified him. But this is not where the little girl's ordeal ended. Raped just after 11 on a Sunday morning, she was admitted soon after to the Thabiseng Thuthuzela Center based at Baragwana Hospital. Thabiseng is one of government's one-stop centers for rape victims. They're supposed to be treated and given support here, and a rape investigation should begin.
They send us from one person to one another, you see. And it was late now. It was on past 8 to 9. The doctor said, tell that people to go home. They must come tomorrow morning.
Are you serious?
Yes.
If that was the situation, then it was wrong. If that is the situation, it's wrong. Like I'm saying, we're still trying to investigate that part to find out what actually then transpired. In this particular case, what happened is this child was seen by one of our highly regarded doctors at that facility who's been working there for many years. And in his findings, he found that the child was sexually assaulted because there were lacerations. In cases of a child, we don't do what we call invasive examinations. In other words, we don't go into or beyond their hymen with our examination, because that's very uncomfortable for children. And then he referred the child for an examination under anesthesia and for collection of whatever specimen.
Our investigation revealed that the victim spent more than 4 hours waiting for a doctor at the rape center. She was then referred to Baragwana. Even there, her internal injuries weren't stitched until the next day.
On the 10th of July, 9:20, child has been referred to the gynae OPD from Thabiseng clinic. But I know the gynae theater is very busy. We have got a lot of operation going on, and this was not emergency, and she was planned for tomorrow.
Community leaders expressed outrage at the way Lebo's case was handled.
We are going to take further action, because if we are not acting, these things will keep on happening and happening. And where are we going? So we are saying there is some slack somewhere within the government. On top, the government put policies in place, laws in place, but down there, that's where we find that there's a lot of flaws. That person was just... Now I want that policeman. Actually, I want to see the senior prosecutor. The truth of
Outside the Protea Magistrates Court, there is concern over the handling of the case.
We are talking about a 4-year-old child that has been molested, that has been abused, and the child is in pain, and people are playing around with all that. And when we asked, I was with the state prosecutor, when we said, was the child swapped? They say it's swapped. We discovered that the prosecutor said, I didn't see anything on the record. So those things are the ones that are letting the perpetrators go scot-free, because those are the things that were supposed to be done by the police.
Only a small percent of child rape cases ends in a conviction.
The majority of rapes never get reported to the police. Even of cases that do go to court, we only get a custodial sentence overall in 7% of rape cases. So that the vast majority of men who rape women and children in this country never end up with any form of meaningful punishment for what they did.
One woman has come up with a drastic approach to the problem of rape in the country.
It's got an applicator. It comes with an applicator that she can put it into the vagina, and this releases it in the vagina. Also, this very same applicator you use to remove it with. And once it's intact, it actually opens in the vagina, and the moment there's penetration here, it opens and it can receive any size penis. All this it's attached to the shaft skin of the penis. Also, the hooks are extremely short, so they only go through the skin. They do not penetrate into the spongy area. And he can't urinate. He's got to go to a doctor. He's got to turn himself in. I have done the first part.
Sonette is currently working on a device for children.
Identikit already. It's nothing to do with, it will not, it's nothing that they insert. It will be almost like a little garment that they would wear. And yes, it will work wonderful. The moment you molest a child, I tell you, everybody around will know. The mother will know, and the neighbours and everybody will know about it.
Countrywide, many parents fear for the safety of their children. In Eldorado Park, where 6-year-old Gadonisha Ganchi went missing, anger at police inaction spilled out into the streets.
The really scary part for me is that there are far more sexual predators outside in the community than that there are in correctional facilities. And that is actually what should concern the community.
Unfortunately, sex offenders who use that level of violence, they're addicted to that level of violence, and they nurture their addiction. They're not going to give it up without a fight. So if they get blocked in one community, they're simply going to find another community that's more vulnerable.
The scars on the face of little Fauzia are beginning to heal, but no one knows how deep the wounds on the inside are. Baby Tsapang has since been placed in the care of foster parents. She's doing well. The case against Lebo's alleged assailant is still continuing in the Protea Magistrates Court in Soweto. Meanwhile, the senseless violence against children continues, with no apparent end in sight.